So we're started. Okay. Well, here I am at Parmar, and my doctor, my regular doctor, has recommended a sleep study for me, and I thought that was about the silliest thing I'd ever heard of. But I really relied on the doctor, and I felt his recommendations were going to be good, so I didn't particularly agree with that, but I thought I'd let it go. So. But anyway, I didn't reject what my MD said, and I went for the study. The study was fairly uncomfortable. Lots of wires, you know, you're connected with lots of wires and so on, and you're trying to sleep. And I don't know many people who do sleep with lots of wires, so anyway, by the time it was over, these 29 wires, and by the time it was over, I just kind of wondered, how could this possibly be useful? I was not quite rolling over on the bed, but I was anxious and a little jumpy and so on. Okay, so to make a long story short, I decided to continue with the process. That was just a diagnosis, or really just some information, which apparently did really relate to some issues that I might be having in sleep. So I started the process of getting an apnea device. I knew I didn't want a CPAP, and luckily it appeared that I didn't have I didn't have a need for a CPAP. So anyway, after the study, I talked to a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, who had come to the Parmar organization just a few months before I did, and I can't thank her enough. But I can thank you even more here. Because of what you've done for me. It took several weeks to make my apnea device. I had came up several times for it and so on. And then finally I was actually wearing it, getting it adjusted, and then finally taking it home to start sleeping with it. It was, you know, a little bit, it was a little odd, right? It was new, it was foreign to my body, my mouth. Occasionally uncomfortable, but really not for long. I was always able to sleep, and ultimately I could even feel gradually that I was sleeping better. And my wife was telling me that I wasn't snoring as much, and I wasn't breathing through my mouth so much, and that kind of tapered off to where it was hard to remember when the last one of those events was for her. So that's great, and it was several months of working through this and getting to the point where it appeared that it was working just as well as it could, and we then took the pulse ox test. It was one night's sleep with just a little device on my, kind of like a wristwatch almost, recording what was going on, and checking checking particular aspects of the device, or I should say of my breathing. That's really what that is. And it turns out that came out very well. I came out very well with that. And I was concerned because I had just finished having an operation several weeks before that. And in spite of that, everything was still working just fine within my head and my mouth, so to speak. So there's one final test which I have not yet taken, and that is a redo of the sleep study. But I've already have fabulous results. I sleep well. My wife sleeps well, and there's an occasional, very occasional, not even every week, but every once in a while there's one little blip somewhere. But you know, life isn't perfect, I guess, and it's fine with me, I must say that. So basically, I would absolutely recommend you to get a sleep study and to then come and take those results to the Parmar organization, because I just highly recommend it. It would potentially thoroughly change your life. You may be using a CPAP, possibly. A lot of people do, and a lot of people use an apnea device. And one's not better than the other, it's just more appropriate for a given person. So I wish you well, and Good luck with Parma.